More. I'm joined in studio by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, talk to us a little bit more about what exactly has happened to these two French nationals in Iran.
Well, as you know, Sharon, there are loads of protests taking place in Iran right now, entering their third week today. And this video has appeared several months, in fact, since the month of May, when Cécile Turle and her husband, whose name is Jacques Paris, were arrested in Iran while they were on holiday. And they have been shown now in a video by the Iranian authorities in which they are saying that they were, or she was, an intelligence and operations agent at the DGSE, the Directorate General for External Security in France. They were in Iran to prepare the ground for the revolution and the overthrow of the regime of the Islamic Iran. That has come at a time when the Iranian regime is under pressure because of these protests, and at a time also when it is blaming both the United States and Israel for being behind all these demonstrations. So this is easy fodder for the Iranian authorities to blame yet another country, i.e. France, bring it in as a scapegoat, if you like, blame them, say they are also orchestrating these protests, and it's because of them that Iran is facing all these troubles at the moment. No mention, of course, by the Iranian authorities of the dissatisfaction of the young people. I'll come back to that in a few minutes. We're not going to show the video because we don't want to show the video of someone speaking under duress, under force by the Iranian authorities. Now, there's been an investigation in France as to who exactly Cécile Turle and her husband are, and union officials say that she's been identified as the head of a French teachers' union, and that both she and her husband, Jacques Paris, were in Iran on holiday. They were arrested on spying charges, and that's why they're being detained by the authorities in the country in Tehran. They're not the first ones, and probably not the last ones, French nationals to be detained. There is another one whose name is Benjamin Briere, who's been in jail in Iran since May 2020. He was arrested also while vacationing in the country and using a drone, which the authorities said was him spying, and that is why he has been put in jail. Of course, all those charges have been denied by both him and also by Cécile Turle.
And how then have the French authorities reacted to this latest video and the situation that these two French nationals are in Iran?
Well, once the video was released, the reaction was pretty rapid from the French Foreign Affairs Ministry. The French Foreign Minister, Catherine Colonna, has issued a statement during which she said the masquerade reveals the contempt for human dignity that characterizes the Iranian authorities. That's her here. The French say that they have nothing to do with these two French nationals and their visit to Iran. But it comes at the same time, as I was saying, the Iranian authorities are under pressure because the European Union has also issued a resolution calling for more sanctions against those responsible for the death of Mahsa Amini. That's the lady who was arrested for not wearing her hijab correctly, showing some hair, which is not allowed in Iran. She was taken in by the morality police and then died. And her death was the catalyst which has caused these 3 weeks of protests. And at the same time, when the United States has also announced more sanctions against Iran, 7 Iranian officials have also now been placed under US sanctions. So the pressure is ramping up on the Iranian authorities. That's why they are retaliating with the arrest of more foreign nationals.
And just staying on that subject then, do you think that authorities there, they're starting to feel like their back is against the wall in terms of what's happening with these demonstrations and the pressure that they may be coming under?
Well, you have to remember, Sharon, that there's one thing which is worrying the Iranian authorities, and they are very determined, and that is to maintain the regime, that the regime survives at any cost. They will clamp down on these protesters if they have to. They have no scruples about opening fire on demonstrators in Iran. Now, these demonstrators are slightly different. These are the worst protests that Iran has seen since the Islamic Revolution of 1979, basically because it's young people, many of them women. In the old days, there have been other protests, but they were trying to change the regime from within. What is different this time around is these young people have no confidence in the regime. They want the regime gone because they say it is corrupt. They say there is high unemployment in Iran. They say there is deadlock in nuclear talks. They say there's a lack of social and political freedom. They don't see the Iranian regime capable of changing any of those things, and that's why they're out protesting on the streets, and why these protests have been much longer than in the past and brought in far more sectors of society. The Iranian women who are protesting, cutting their hair, burning their hijabs, they say, in the old days we were on our own protesting. Now we have backup from many other sectors from within Iranian society and also from the international community. The reply from the authorities has been that they are not going to stand for this. Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of Iran, has issued a statement this week saying that he will not put up with these protests and they will be blocked. So I think we're getting to a point now where things could get even more dire and dramatic for the protesters, but there's no sign of them wanting to let up in their demonstrations for the time being.
The movement into its third week, as you say, Philip. Thanks for that. That's our international affairs editor here at France 24, Philip Turle.